Good morning. Welcome to CMZ Live. I'm Kim Jansen. I'm one of the orangutan keepers here at the Cleveland Metro Park Zoo. And I'm excited to join you again today for a Valentine's Day special live stream. Tune in and learn about our orangutans and enjoy watching the group with some of our special Valentine's Day themed enrichment. And definitely drop your questions and we will try and address them throughout the broadcast. So we have a group of 5 orangutans here at the zoo. Who you're seeing right now is our adult male Tyrium. We call him Ty for short. He is 38 years old. In fact, he is the second to oldest Bornean orangutan in North America. We have 2 adult females that you'll be seeing throughout our broadcast. We have Kayla, who is also 38 years old. And we have Kira, she's 26. She is the mom to our 2 sub-adults. Our 2 young ones are Mira, she's about 10 years old right now. And then we have Zaki, who will be turning 4 in April. So right now, who you're seeing is our mom orangutan, Kirawek. So one of the questions that we just got is, will the orangutans be getting a new habitat in the rainforest? Right now, the building is closed because we are getting ready for our primate forest. Our new primate forest building will have an outdoor exhibit for the orangutans and then also a day room, which will have heat and air conditioning, so we can really prolong the season that orangutans can be out in the summer. And then our plan is for right now is once we get kind of into the deep winter season, that the orangutans will be going in the habitat that you see right now. Thank you for all the questions. Keep them coming. One of the questions that we just got was, how long have the orangutans been at the zoo? Ty and Kayla have actually been here since 1994. They have been one of the original orangutans to the rainforest building. Kira actually came here in 2000, and then both of our kids were born here at this habitat. Another question that we just received is, how are the orangutans handling the construction noise? Orangutans are just naturally curious animals. A lot of what we've been seeing from them is they don't seem to be very affected by it. If anything, they're a little bit curious. Since we redid the dome several years ago, the exhibit has a mesh top, and what we see from them is that there's a different noise than what they're kind of used to. They might climb all the way to the tippy top, and then they can kind of see through that opaque dome to see what the noises are. But for the most part, they're pretty tolerable, and we're not seeing a lot of stress behaviors. They're just kind of continuing with life. So another question we had is, are the animals that were already in the building before construction, will they be returning? And for the most part, yes, they will be returning. We do have a few exceptions. We had a rainstorm exhibit that will be revamped, and that will be a little bit different. But everybody else, the birds, the clouded leopards, the otters, the capybaras, we all have plans of them returning back to the building, so you can come and see your favorites. So right now you're seeing some really neat behavior from Zaki. Again, he's our youngest orangutan. He's 3.5 years old. He'll be turning 4 in April. Right now, he's working on cracking a coconut. Coconut is one of their favorite food items. We usually give it to them whole, so they actually have to go through the whole process of cracking the coconut, peeling away that really hard shell, and then they can access either the coconut milk or the coconut flesh. So what you'll be seeing, hopefully we'll get a chance to see, is they'll actually pound that coconut down on the ground and then to crack it open. One of the other enrichment items that we are using right now to kind of capitalize on their engineering skills, they have pieces of log that have been cut into kind of cookies, what we call them, and then there's little holes that we have drilled down, and then we put smears in there. So today they got peanut butter, They're usually very narrow holes that they can't use their fingers to just pick out of. So hopefully we'll see them use some of the branches to kind of pick at that and get into the good stuff. We've had a couple more questions about the construction and the new building. One of the questions was why we're renaming it Primate Forest versus keeping the rainforest. So one of the reasons why we wanted to kind of rename it is it's really going to be a whole new experience. The orangutans are going to have some new space. The gorillas are going to be moving down to this new space instead of being at the primate building where they are right now. So the focus is really going to be on primates and the interactions between animals and forests. So you'll be seeing a lot of that new theming in our new space. One of the other things that we see with our orangutans is there are different vocalizations between them. Males will do long calls. It's one of the reasons why they have those big cheek pads on their faces. So orangutans are semi-solitary. Males are pretty much completely solitary with large ranges, and they will use their long call to kind of broadcast to females that are around that they're in their space and they're kind of looking for them. So just like you put your hands up to your face to maybe, yell loud, and it kind of helps with amplifying that noise. We believe that those cheek pads, the males use those cheek pads in the same manner. And there's other different vocalizations that we see. The orangutans, especially at the zoo, do a raspberry kind of sound, just like what we would do around our young ones, our babies. And a lot of that is to seek attention from the other orangutans or even their keepers. There's also rumbles. There's also lip smacks, which are kind of a stress behavior. So they do have some vocalizations on communicating, but they are a visual species. So a lot of their communication is just, different looks that they have when they are viewing each other. A question that we just got is, will this group stay together? And then if there's going to be any babies in the future. So right now, our group is pretty solid. Both of our adult females have had a lot of babies, and they're pretty well represented genetically within the population, the captive population. So they are actually, they both have a birth control implant that we replace every couple years. And for right now, the SSP, which is the Species Survival Program, has recommended us to not breed because we have such good genetics here. So for right now, we don't have any plans. Mira, our young female, she's actually on an oral contraceptive, and there's probably plans of breeding her in the future. The breeding recommendations come out every 2 to 3 years. Right now, we were given the recommendation to not breed. Of course, with our group, she's in with her brother and her dad. So obviously no breeding is going to happen now. And we'll just have to see what happens in the future. The SSP program is the one that kind of dictates that, who should be matched with who, and then at what facility. So depending on what happens in the future with our primate forest, and then as we have our aging adults, things can always happen, but right now we're in a pretty stable position. So no babies quite yet. So today we have a Valentine's Day themed enrichment. Enrichment that we give our orangutans are just anything that kind of makes them, we want to elicit that natural behavior. So today what they got were streamers that you can see are around the exhibit. They also got tissue paper. So that's the pink and the red and the white paper that you see in our mesh feeders or around the exhibit. They also got construction paper hearts, just to do something a little bit different. Some of the other enrichment items that they got today were paper bags that had popcorn and raisins hidden in them. They also got the we call them wooden cookies with the holes drilled in them with peanut butter smeared, or the logs that had the holes with peanut butter in them. And they also got coconuts. So they got a lot of really yummy treats today. So one of the questions that we just got is it okay to call them orangutans with a G at the end? It's actually proper to call orangutans orangutans. Somehow in Western society, we like to put a G at the end of that name, and it's really not proper. Orangutan actually means ape of the forest, and it's very important that we give them the respect, because in that culture in Southeast Asia, their orangutans are very revered. So we want to make sure that we give them the proper name. We don't shorten it or anything like that, and we don't put a G at the end. So great question. So another great question is, in the new habitat, are we going to be able to hear the vocalizations with the orangutans? And my answer would be yes and no. They're in the indoor space that we have with the new addition. It is going to be fairly enclosed. So when Ty does his long call, I would think that we're probably going to hear that. We do hear these vocalizations even in their current habitat where you're seeing them right now. If he gets spurred to do his long call, it's pretty loud. So if you happen to be there at the right time and the situation comes up that he does his long call, you can definitely hear that. A lot of times, a lot of their other vocalizations are pretty quiet, so we might not hear them all the time, even in the open space that we have. So hopefully when they're out on exhibit, we might be able to hear it. Right now, we are definitely hearing a lot of different vocalizations with Zaki. He's just like a human kid in which he's going through the process of just learning how to do everything. So we hear a lot of vocalizations, no long calling yet with him, but we do hear a lot of raspberries, a lot of lip smacks from him, even though all of his other behavior is not showing him that he's stressed. He's just kind of checking out what he can do, developing all of those facial muscles to do those vocalizations. So orangutans are primarily semi-social or semi-solitary, sorry. What we see out in the wild is males have large territories, and within those territories you have smaller female territories. Females kind of keep to their own. They don't really form big groups. You will have groups of mom with their current offspring. Offspring stay with moms up until about 8 years old. And they really take that time to learn all of the things that they need to learn to survive. Orangutans learn a lot by mimicking and seeing other orangutans' behavior. So they need all of that time with mom to learn what food they can eat that is safe and not toxic. There's a lot of plant species that they might fruit, but they only fruit every couple years. So mom has to teach their kids, at what point they can consume those plant items, that fruit, those nuts, those leaves, without it being toxic to them. So you will find kind of groups of orangutans or several individuals that will come together when there's a tree that is fruiting, but they don't really interact together what we see with other great ape and primate species. So thank you for joining us today. Please visit futureforwildlife.org to learn more about orangutans. And this concludes today's live stream. Thank you for tuning in and for all of your great questions. Stay close to Cleveland Metro Park Zoo's social media pages for the next live stream.